Greetings, horror fans. Here we go. Christine, Stephen King, John Carpenter. Sounds like a match made in heaven.
Yes.
Hell! Just like David Cronenberg, Stephen King for Dead Zone.
That's right.
Stanley Kubrick and Stephen King.
I actually forgot.
Shining.
Yes.
You know, there's some combos that you think are a sure thing. For this one, possibly. Yeah, so Stephen King wrote Christine and it was published in 1983 and the movie came out the same year. I thought it was like several years after.
I had no concept of when the book was written or when the movie came out. I read the book as a teenager. I related so much to old Arnie Cummings with his pizza face.
Shame.
That I remember. So I enjoyed the book very much.
I never read the book. I watched it on VHS. I was too young. I think I was too young. It was probably like a 16 or 18 restriction when it came out in the cinema, so I couldn't go watch it.
I also saw it on video.
Watched it on VHS. It took like sometimes a couple of years before it came on VHS. But age restrictions didn't matter there. We just got whatever we wanted to see, which was perfect. So when that happened, when VHS landed, man, that was so cool.
Yes.
Not to mention the under-the-counter stuff. Not porn, like stuff like Evil Dead, which was banned. Lots of movies were banned in South Africa, and then some of the video stores had like.
Yeah, we had a very, very nice uncle from the UK that smuggled them in for us.
But yeah, so I actually bought the book around 87, 88, and I loaned it with The Howling Four to a friend of mine, Janine, in art school, and then
Janine.
She lost it. So I never read the book, I just saw the movie. It's set in 1978, the last couple of months of 1978. Although it starts off in 1957, 58.
That's right.
In an assembly line where this Plymouth Fury gets assembled.
We actually meet Christine as she's on the sort of conveyor, the assembly line.
And from the get-go, people die around the car.
I remember when I read the book and I saw the movie a couple of years later. And at the time, I was obviously, when you're that age, when you're young, I loved the movie. I remember enjoying it, but
you saw it now it's sort of a whole different thing.
It's different, yes, definitely.
But basically, Arnie is a kind of a nerdy guy with a more popular friend. Obviously, as we're watching it, I asked Sonia. Obviously, in the book, you'd think if you watch the movie, why is this nerdy guy friends with this popular kind of football dude?
Yes, like the quarterback.
I'm assuming that they grew up together.
That's right.
And stayed friends,
yes,
regardless of that. And you have your school bullies. Obviously.
The ducktaily types.
Yeah, a guy with a flick knife.
Although he did look a lot like Jim Morrison, which was sort of apt for the time.
Yeah. So Arnie, he spots this old car in someone's yard. He buys it and he fixes it up, but this car happens to be a bit possessed or evil, whatever you want to call it, and it starts affecting him.
That's right, but it affects him in actually a good way because his skin starts clearing up.
He's more confident.
Yes.
He gets a good-looking girl.
Obviously, in the book, it is a very long process, and it's very detailed about how his skin clears up. He becomes handsome. He grows. He gets taller. He gets more broader shoulders. He becomes cool.
It's not so evident in the movie.
No, in the movie, it's a very quick transition.
Yeah, all of a sudden you just kind of.
He's all man.
But then, it could also be he just didn't see his friend. I can't remember his friend's name. He didn't see him for a long time. So this would kind of be from his friend's perspective. That all of a sudden here he sees him. He's with a girl that he sort of asked out before.
The prettiest girl in the school.
The car's all pristine and he's all cool. So it's that could have been part of it. But now for all the kind of positive personal things that has, the car kind of wants blood, if you can put it that way.
Yes.
With Arnie's girlfriend getting in a bit of a bind inside the car. And then also these bullies that sort of don't want to let go. They decide to destroy his car and Arnie is so obsessed with his car, it's like more than a girlfriend to him.
Yes.
And him or the car, who knows, starts kind of targeting these bullies and take them out in various ways.
Which in the book is exquisite.
Exquisite.
The movie, not so much.
Now, what is your... How would you term an exquisite death? She's quite bloodthirsty for such a pacifist.
No. I feel that these bastards deserved what they got.
Yeah,
and in the book, it's very descriptive.
Gruesome death for being an asshole. I guess it can be debated.
I'm so tired of assholes.
That's why, yeah. Sonia always loves it when the bad guys get it good.
Yes.
Obviously now the friendship and the girlfriend, all these things are sort of in peril. But throughout this, the soundtrack plays an important part, and I'm sure in the book Stephen King always likes to...
He does. He mentions the song title. So if you know the song, you sort of get an idea of what the soundtrack of the book is.
And it's got all these kind of 50s sort of rock and roll and crooner songs, and it's linked, like someone tries to open the car door and like Little Richard's, you keep on knocking but you can't come in.
Yes. And Bad to the Bone.
And the movie opens with George Thorogood's Bad to the Bone. And I've actually thought it was a much older song. That song was just like a year, like in 1982, I think that song came out.
Crazy.
It was also in Terminator 2,
That's
obviously,
right.
in the classic pool scene.
Yes.
And yeah, everyone knows that song, and it's always very effective when you use it. But then the rest of the soundtrack, obviously by John Carpenter with Alan Howarth, very synthy-driven soundtrack.
Brilliant.
Very, very John Carpenter-ish.
And so 80s, yes.
But that John Carpenter sound is just so
it's signature.
Signature, yeah. And I was thinking in some parts it felt so Escape from New York. And Escape from New York was actually made just 2 years before that. So I don't know if it had leftovers or if he still had that in his mind, but
yes.
In between Escape from New York and Christine was The Thing.
Oh, what an incredible film.
So just, 81, 82, 83, John Carpenter made
some really cool work.
Yeah.
Did some cool work.
And Halloween just before that. But I sometimes wonder if Stephen King comes up with his own stories.
Oh, hands off the king.
Because in 1977, this movie was released called The Car. This black, mysterious car that goes around killing people. Then I was 7 years old, so I couldn't go watch it. I remember seeing the trailer, and my brother was so keen to go. He went to the cinema on his own. I think he was also underage, but just sort of walked up a bit taller and said he was 12 or 15, whatever the 16 the restriction was. And I remember he enjoyed it, but I never got to see it. And that was 1977.
Wow.
And it's this car, this mysterious car that goes around and kills people.
Yes.
It was like about 5-6 years before Christine was published. So I don't know if he borrowed, loaned.
I think sometimes
Stole.
when a concept is out there in the ether, in the universe.
Yeah. I mean, The Cars at 8 Paris, when did that come out? Okay. But, another Stephen King, he wrote this as a Bachman book, The Running Man. That was about 1982. It's about this TV show where people have to kind of fight to the death in there. Like a gladiator type story, but in a reality TV show scenario, which didn't exist then. Although, I remember in high school, our English teacher, she read us the story, The Prize of Peril. Exactly the same story as Running Man.
Wow.
I think it was convicts that they could... Or was this Running Man? Is it the same scenario? They're so blended to me. You can get your freedom if you...
Running Man is convicts in a reality TV show.
But that was written in like 1958.
I do think though that this whole 1984 vibe, the sort of foretelling the future, I think there was a lot of that. And I think the same sort of concept comes up for different people in different ways.
For sure. But I mean, this movie's got some cool... Christina, not The Car.
Yeah.
It's got some very, very cool scenes, like, but sadly, I remember watching a little making of back when it came out, and I think they said they had to destroy like 6 or 8
I know, that's
6 or 8 of these Plymouth Furies.
That was actually pain knowing that. The first time I saw the movie, I was a child, didn't know that. Second time around, it hurt every time you see
cars
that.
getting crushed.
Yeah,
and
very
damaged.
effective in.
Yeah, and some of it's also pre-CGI. These movies were made, and
Fantastic.
just like just basic reversed photography, just with the car kind of putting itself back together. It worked very well.
And it was well done. It wasn't sort of just rewinding the film.
And some other cool shots is like just this Christine's like on fire, just driving down the road in flames.
And I feel that Radiohead got their idea for Karma Police.
It worked very well.
Brilliant.
Yeah, like Sonia always says, hands off Stephen King, but it's not always perfect.
No, it's not. It's not. I personally, on seeing the film again, thought it was atrocious. And the female lead, oh my goodness. How
she was useless.
Useless. If you open the dictionary at useless, there's a picture of this chick right there.
Shame. For actors, maybe that was the first role, I don't know.
But also it's how she was directed, it's how it was written.
Yeah, it was
the screenplay.
Just the chick that needs to run. That was
so much has changed.
Description.
Thank goodness, so much has changed.
It was cool, but it did feel dated watching it again.
It did, yes.
But then it is set in the late 70s, so you can't say it feels dated because technically now it's a period piece. Still, if you're a John Carpenter fan, you have to watch it if you haven't seen it. If you're a Stephen King fan, you have to watch it if you haven't seen it. But now there's also a word that they will be remaking Christine.
And I actually feel that maybe this one is worth a remake.
But you can just imagine all the CGI that's going to be in there.
Yes.
You've got to be kidding me.
But Stephen King, he has his obsession with cars doing its own thing. I think that the Maximum Overdrive, that movie that he did as well. This truck with this green goblin in the front, sort of mechanical stuff going haywire and killing people. All right, scores.
I'm going to change my score. I'm going to buck the trend a little bit.
Are you going to change it for better or for worse?
I'm going to change it for better. Even though discussing the film now, I sort of realized that this insipid chick.
Yeah, I mean, you can't let one little item
I know.
like tank it for you.
And I shouldn't be doing that. So my score for this will be 5.
5. Mine is a 6. It's 11. 5.5.
Yes.
Just over average.
Yes.
Cool. If I had to score this when I was in my teens,
oh, much higher.
and a total John Carpenter fan, I probably would have given it an 8 or something.
I also would have scored it higher
But,
as a youngster.
That was then and this is now.
Now we sort of have become so used to a certain caliber of... Back then, if you saw something like this, it was amazing.
But we rented the biggest crap. I mean, just whatever's in this video store, you just got these Italian slasher movies.
I was never a fan of slasher movies, but haunted, possessed, that's my bag.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So
there you have it.
Whether you agree with us or not, let us know. Comment. Tell us we're wrong, tell us we're right, tell us we're spot on or not. Like, tell your friends, and watch more horror movies.
Yes. Cheers.